el senador demócrata Adam Schiff dio una auténtica clase magistral en el comité del Senado donde Pam Bondi estaba bajo juramento. Por si acaso, Pam Bondi es la fiscal general de Estados Unidos. Quiero que veas cómo el senador Adam Schiff, quien antes fue fiscal federal, para luego convertirse en congresista y luego se convirtió en senador, interrogó de una manera pulcra e increíble a Pam Bondi, la actual fiscal federal de Estados Unidos. Y en este momento increíble, él demostró lo que ella se negaba a responder rotundamente. Esto fue increíblemente incriminatorio contra la fiscal federal Pam Bondi y el régimen de Donald Trump. Quiero que observes muy bien este momento dentro de la audiencia del comité. Mira el clip, por favor.
So these are just some of the questions you refused to answer, or have answered with personal attacks on members of this committee. You were asked whether you consulted with career ethics lawyers, as you promised you would do during your nomination hearing, when you approved the president receiving a $400 million gift from the Qataris. You refused to answer that question. You were asked who or what role you may have played, or who played the role in asking that Trump's name be flagged in any of the Epstein documents gathered by the FBI. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman kept the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman paid taxes on the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did career prosecutors find insufficient evidence to charge James Comey? You refused to answer that question. You were asked, how are military strikes on these boats in the Caribbean legal? And you refused to even answer that question. You were asked,
law degree,
excuse me. You were asked, did you discuss indicting James Comey with the president? You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did you approve the firing of antitrust lawyers who disagreed with the Hewlett-Packard merger? You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether you support a restoration fund for violent insurrections to attack the Capitol on January 6th. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether you were firing career professionals, career prosecutors, just because they worked on January 6th January 6th investigations. You refused to answer that question. You were asked by my California colleague whether you believe government officials, like immigration officials, have to abide by court orders. You wouldn't even answer that question. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Oversight?
Excuse me, you can attack me after my time is over.
You've attacked all of us.
Luego el senador Adam Schiff se mantuvo totalmente enfocado durante todo su interrogatorio con la fiscal federal Pam Bondi. Tom Homan, el zar de las fronteras, ¿agarró los $50,000 dentro de una bolsa atrás de un restaurante? ¿Sí o no? Y mientras ella intentaba distraer, gritar y aferrarse a cualquier otro tema, él se mantuvo estoico, se mantuvo serio, demostrando qué tan desequilibrada estaba ella. Y ciertamente parece que tomó ese dinero y nunca más lo devolvió. Miren el clip, por favor.
You did, but in case I just didn't hear you, what is the answer? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, that happened prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. I said that.
Do you know, sitting here, whether
all
he took the money?
I know is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I know.
So and, was she,
Senator Schiff,
was she
if
right?
you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying with your egregious...
You can stipulate to all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks? You've been attacking my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been attacking...
But what we're interested in...
borders are.
What we're interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
You were asked by my colleague.
You were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question.
Luego, en otro momento intenso de este interrogatorio del senador Adam Schiff a la fiscal federal, la fiscal general Pam Bondi, él dice, ¿fue cierto o no? ¿Fue cierto lo que dijo la principal vocera de la Casa Blanca, la secretaria de prensa de la Casa Blanca, Caroline Leavitt, cuando negó rotundamente que Tom Homan tomó ese dinero? ¿Tomó o no ese dinero? Dejemos esto así de simple para usted, Pam Bondi. Y miren lo que pasó. Miren el clip, por favor.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied Homan took the $50,000, telling a reporter, quote, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight. So today I hope you can help us get our facts straight. Was that true, what the White House press secretary said when she denied Homan took the money? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, as I stated earlier, I was not in office. I was not confirmed when that was handled.
So does that mean...
Deputy Attorney General Blanche and Director Patel said that there was no evidence that Tom Homan committed a crime. Yet now you're putting his picture up to slander him.
No, I'm putting his picture up showing an interview he gave with, I think, Fox, in which he was asked explicitly about these allegations that he took a $50,000 bribe, and he refused to answer. He said he didn't answer the question whether he took the money, so I'm asking you the question. Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, I answered that question multiple times. And frankly,
Well, I don't think, with respect, I don't think you did. But in case I just didn't hear you, what is the answer? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, that happened prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. I said that.
Do you know sitting here?
All I know.
Y entonces el senador Adam Schiff le pregunta y le dice directamente a Pam Bondi: bien, señorita Pam Bondi, usted, en su rol de fiscal general de Estados Unidos, en su rol de jefa directa del Departamento de Justicia, ¿apoyará la transparencia? ¿Apoyará la solicitud del comité para mostrar las grabaciones de Tom Homan? Porque sí, esto fue grabado en video, donde supuestamente Tom Homan agarró $50,000 en sobornos. Esto fue en Texas, en el 2004, y el dinero estaba en una bolsa de cava, o una bolsa de restaurante, o una bolsa de lona, como lo quieras entender, pero eran $50,000 en efectivo. ¿Apoyaría que este comité judicial solicite los archivos y el video? Veamos lo que dice ella. Miren el clip, por favor.
You were asked by my colleague from Vermont whether you will support providing a video or audio tape, if it exists, of Mr. Homan taking $50,000 in bribe money from the FBI. Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tape or tapes to the committee? Yes or no?
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
Well, I'm talking to you about it. You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision. Will you support?
You don't have to tell me what is my decision and what is not my decision. I said you can talk to Director Patel.
You don't have to try to.
You think you've got a gotcha with Tom Homan, our border czar, who's been out there fighting for our country since Donald Trump took office.
I'm trying to ask you a question. Regular order, please. And you don't have to defer to the FBI director to pass the buck. So I'm asking you, will you support a request so that the committee, or indeed, I believe the American people, should be able to see that video or audio tape? Will you support that request?
Will you apologize to Donald Trump for trying to impeach
the answer is you won't support that
after
request.
You now know that Joe Biden tried to cover up Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
Let me do this, because I think it's valuable that the American people get a sense of what you've refused to answer today.
Y se puede ver claramente cómo ella se agita, cómo grita y cómo lanza insultos contra el senador Adam Schiff. Él no se distrajo en absoluto y se mantuvo rotundamente firme. Y luego, en un momento importante, Pam Bondi sencillamente parece que colapsó. Donde comenzó a vociferar de todo, comenzó a insultar, comenzó a gritar, solo le faltó lanzar cosas. Entonces, el senador Adam Schiff pregunta: ¿podemos por favor mantener el decoro aquí? Y de una vez por todas, comportarnos como adultos. Miren el clip, por favor.
This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Oversight?
Excuse me, you can attack me after my time is over.
You've attacked all of us, including President Trump, for your entire career.
You can attack me later, and I know you've got plenty of canned attacks. We've heard them all day to day.
Canned attacks on you?
This is supposed to be...
No one needs a canned attack on you.
Regular order, Madam Chair, I'm trying to speak. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing of the Justice Department. And it comes in the wake of an indictment called for by the president of one of his enemies. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing, and it comes in the wake of revelations that a top administration official took $50,000 in a bag, and this department made that investigation go away. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing when dozens of prosecutors have been fired simply because they worked on cases investigating the former president. This is, and now
what
the current president.
What about the fires in California?
And
do you care about that, Senator Schiff?
This is supposed to be an oversight hearing in which members of Congress can get serious answers to serious questions about
the riots in LA serious?
About the cover-up of corruption. about the prosecution of the president's enemies. And
I think you owe the president an apology.
When will it be
your entire career, frankly,
that the members of this committee on a bipartisan basis demand answers to those questions and refuse to accept
Clearly you're a failed lawyer because you don't understand when someone can and cannot answer a question.
Refuse to accept personal slander as an answer to those questions.
Personal slander? Will you apologize to Donald Trump for slandering him? Personal slander.
Senator.
May I ask unanimous?
Y luego el senador Adam Schiff también expone cómo más de 1000 exfiscales federales hablan mal y tratan de explicar lo pésima que es Pam Bondi. Miren el clip, por favor.
When over 1,000 former federal prosecutors have sounded the alarm about the unprecedented degree to which the powers of DOJ are being abused to go after the president's enemies. I approach this hearing with a heavy heart. As a former federal prosecutor myself, I served in a department that, whether it was under a Democratic or Republican president, would never use the office to go after the president's enemies or to hide the corruption of his friends. But today, the Justice Department has been used to cover up the possible corruption of the mayor of New York or of a high-level administration official taking $50,000 reportedly in cash in a bag, or a child sex predator who befriended the president and some of his cabinet members. And instead of preventing partisan weaponization, your department has engaged in a brazenly political prosecution at the president's explicit direction. The department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies and to protect himself, his allies, and associates.
Okay.
You realize that?
I do want to go back to Homan. You know, there's a tape, right, with Mr. Homan? I mean, first of all, is there a tape that has audio and video of the transfer of the $50,000?
You would have to talk to Director Patel about that.
No, I'm talking to you.
I don't know the answer, Senator.
Yeah, you do know the answer to that.
Don't call me a liar.
I didn't call you a liar.
You just said I know the answer. I said I don't know the answer.
Well,
you have to talk to Director Patel. What I said is that investigation was closed.
If you don't know, why don't you know whether there was a tape and video?
Senator, I believe that was resolved prior to my confirmation as Attorney General.
Do you think that it is of public interest for the people to know what happened to the $50,000 that the FBI turned over to Homan?
Did you hear what I just said? That was resolved prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. That's why I said I would not know.
It's not resolved. There's $50,000. Homan has it, or somebody has it. Do you have no interest in knowing where it is?
You're not going to sit here and slander Tom Homan. The FBI and Deputy Director Blanche said there was nothing.
I'm not slamming Tom Homan. He got the $50,000.
Tom Homan is doing, how do you know that? Tom Homan is doing a great job, as our borders are, keeping your border state safe. You're a border state.
Thank you, Senator Welch. We're going to
Madam President. It was because she had the audacity to remind Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino that he was obligated to follow a court order and the Constitution in California. According to reports, she was fired less than 6 hours after she told Bovino he couldn't arrest people without probable cause. 6 hours. So my first question, Attorney General Bondi, is a simple yes-no question. Do you believe that government officials like Gregory Bovino are obligated to follow applicable court orders, whether they agree with them or not, yes or no?
First, Senator Padilla, you have gone on for over 5 minutes, and I wish that you loved your state of California as much as you hate President Trump. We'd be in really good shape then, because violent crime in California is currently 35% higher than the national average. Property crime in California is 18% higher than the national average. That should be something that we should be talking about and working together on. Yet we're not. And no, this is important. You're talking about all of my agencies, and I want to let you know what DEA has been doing, and they are working hand in hand with
I appreciate that.
No, you can't go on for 5 minutes and criticize my agents who are out working without pay right now because you voted to shut down the government. They're out there working without pay.
Mr. Chairman, I asked a simple yes or no question. Attorney General Bondi is refusing
4,500
to respond.
kilos of fentanyl and 50 million fentanyl pills off the streets.
While under your watch,
FBI, 23,000 violent criminals. U.S. Marshals, 51,000 fugitives.
I'm not getting an answer to my question. I'm trying to move on to the next question or the next topic. Mr. Chairman, order, please.
Y bueno amigos, llegamos al final del video. Espero que te haya gustado, que te haya interesado y más que todo que lo hayas entendido. Si fue así, te agradecería de todo corazón que me lo hagas saber en los comentarios. Además, si el video te gustó, te gusta este tipo de contenido, te va a encantar suscribirte al canal ya que subo videos así todos los días. Mi nombre es José Alvarado, soy economista y estoy comprometido con informarte diariamente. Nos vemos en el siguiente video. Adiós.